Alright, so of course you gotta take your magazine out. First you might want to take your optic off, which I don't. Mine is zeroed already, and I don't feel like losing my zero and wasting ammo to re-zero it, so I'm gonna go ahead and leave mine on. But when you're in this right here, check the chamber, make sure it's empty. Visually check it. It's empty. Make sure it's good. Actually a little dirty, you might need clean. Drop your bolt back forward. Now you're going to want to do is take your rear pin right here. Right, I don't know if you can see it, but right here. You pop this out. Just like that. And it comes apart like that. Now you also have another pin right here. Pull this one out. Now you have your upper and your lower. The lower could be a little different from that one, but you know, most cases your lowers look like that. Pull your bolt out. Charging handle. Now we shouldn't have to use this or need it for anything else. Now you're going to take your stock, if you want to, pull out, and it comes off. Release the hammer. Make sure everything looks good. If you need to clean underneath here and get in here and everything, clean that out. Next, you're going to want to take your buffer tube out, or take your buffer spring and buffer out. A lot of times it's easy to take the charging handle and just put this little button in and pull it out. And now you're going to have your lower with your hammer and all the other parts in the lower. And here, that should be as far as needed to get that. You have your upper should be good. That should be the only thing you need to do unless you're taking your handguard off and you're changing out maybe the gas tube, or cleaning your gas tube, or maybe changing out the handguard, anything like that. Stock, we don't need that anymore. Just put that over here. All this, you don't need the spring or the buffer. Put that over here. So long as with this. Now this is where it gets a little difficult for some people, which I don't understand. It's pretty easy if you ask me. But usually you're going to want to get something really small to pull this pin out. Let me see if I got anything around here. There we go. Got a knife. Sometimes it's a lot easier if you just have a nail sitting nearby or something. Here's your pin. Don't lose that. It's really small and hard to find. And now, once you get that pin pulled out, your firing pin should be loose enough to get out just by dropping it like that. Most important part of the gun, don't lose it. Next you're going to flip it like that, and you're going to turn this little piece right here. You're going to twist it about 45 degrees and you should be able to pull it out. Next, your extractor and everything should be loose. You can pull that right on out of there. Make sure it's not defective or anything. Looks good to me. And then if you really want to, you don't have to, but when you're cleaning it, especially if you're doing a deep clean, there's a little pin right here that you can either take your firing pin, which is kind of dangerous, you don't want to break that or bend it or anything, you could really mess your gun up, but I usually do it with my firing pin anyway. Well, you can push this little pin out, you'll find the extractor, and you can clean out underneath there, all that. Alright, now put it back together. That's about as far as I usually take mine down when I take it down, but you can do it further if you want. Some people do, I don't. Alright, I'm going to start at the back and work my way up. I go from the stock. Now you're going to do the same thing as when you put it on or took it off. You're going to pull this, push down, and it should lock in place. That's good. Make sure your hammer is down. Now you're going to take your buffer spring. You're going to push it down in here a little bit. It wants to go in. And push the buffer, and it should just push right in. If it doesn't push right in, you're doing something wrong. Which, there's not too much you could mess up right there. Now usually me, I'll go ahead and take my upper and lower and put them back together at this point, because all I got left is put the bolt back together. You put your pins, push them back in. Both pins are back in. They're locked in place, which means you know you're good. Now to put the bolt back together. Bolt is the exact same thing, you just do the reverse of what you did to take it apart. Take the firing pin here in a second. It should just slip right back in there. You turn 45 degrees and pull the bolt forward. Now, because it's sometimes the firing pin likes to slide out of this little gap right here, you're going to put your hand over it and just drop the firing pin in, and it should go where it needs to. Alright, there you go, yep. And I'll push it itself all the way down. Now you're going to take your pin, put the pin back in, and you should be good to go. Yeah, the pin's not moving. Flick it a few times to make sure it's not going to come out. Now you're going to take your this is where some people get a little confused, but you're going to take your charging handle, you're going to put it down into the hole in the upper. You're going to slide it until it goes into like a little notch and sets itself in there. Not going to push it in all the way, you're only going to push it in halfway. Now you're going to take your bolt carrier and just slide it right on in there with the charging handle. And it should move with the charging handle now. Push that in all the way, flip it back together, push your pin in, functions check. Safety works. Looks good to me. It's as simple as that.